What's up, everybody, on this beautiful Monday morning in Las Vegas? Welcome to Fight Junkeez, sponsored by MMA Fight Universe. Welcome. Today's a big day. We had a huge weekend, a great fight card at UFC 287 in Miami, where the sun was shining, just like it's shining in Las Vegas. It is very warm out today, and I'm super stoked, super excited. Thanks for tuning in. It was a great card this weekend. I'm still coming down from it because we've had a lot of fights lately, but nothing with the Excalibur or the explosiveness of the fights this weekend. So my name is Bob, just Bob, or Rob Lawrence, or whatever you want to call me. And today we're going to be breaking down the fight cards, starting with the main card. It looks like my co-host might have spilled some tea on himself.
I did. I spilled it all over my seat. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
If anybody wants to know how you make it in the UFC, you drink a lot of tea, because apparently it's the secret juice. This guy drinks more tea than anybody that watches this that is owns tea or a coffee place. Look up the Jamaican sensation, Ode Osborne, UFC flyweight, and give him a sponsorship, because he needs tea.
All the time. I do drink a lot of tea. What's going on, guys? My name is Ode Osborne, UFC flyweight, the Jamaican sensation. You don't know, yo. The big Dan Dada Pandi ting. Yo, hey. Speaking of coming down, man, that card, UFC 287 was electric. It was probably, so far, the best fight card of the year. Every single fight on the main card was amazing. Every fight was just back-to-back-to-back bangers. Like, I was satisfied as hell with that card. I was like, yo, this card is...
It was good.
It was really good,
and there was a lot of anticipation coming in this fight. Not just the main card and the storyline behind that, but Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, who has, after 20-plus years in some backyard brawling, he's taken off the gloves. So shout out to you, Jorge Masvidal, for an amazing career. Thank you for all the great times and all the great fights. We appreciate you. And good luck in the future with all your future endeavors. For you and your family, congrats. 20 years in the game.
Yeah, 20 years,
time.
man. That's a really long time to be fighting. And he retired at 38. He started in Miami and retired in Miami. And I think that's good. Sometimes I feel like fighters take too long in the sport. They go on like an 8-fight losing streak, and then they're like, all right, I'm retiring. You know, I mean, he did go on a 5-fight losing streak, but you know, that's besides the point. My point is, he retired when he needed to. He's still young. He's still got all his teeth. He's got his promotion. He's got whiskey. He's doing his thing. He's making hella money. So good for him. Good for Jorge Masvidal, man. Because sometimes, like I said, fighters stay in it way too long. And they need to go. You know what I'm saying? Even look at Khabib. Khabib retired like way early. That's amazing, man. He wanted to take care of his kids and his wife. And
I think he retired a little too early, though.
Nah, man.
You don't think so?
Nah. He wanted to do... Look, I give Khabib props. He wanted to, like I said, dedicate a lot of his time to his family. And Tom Brady should take a page out of Khabib's book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I won't even go into that. But yeah, I get it. I think just as a fan of Khabib and the dominant performances that he always had, I would have liked him to have a few more fights as a fan. But yeah. I mean, I get it. You're a multimillionaire. You're one of the most famous Muslims in the world.
Yep. And not just that, but I'm gonna speak real shit right now. As a fighter, us fighters think differently than the fans, and a lot of the fans are like, "Yeah, I want this fighter to fight, 5 more times. Yeah, I want, fight of the night. Yeah, I want you guys to do this. I want you guys to do that." And all we see is we are just like show horses. You know what I'm saying? We're just show horses with a number next to our name that competes whenever people want us to compete and get paid to compete and get paid to fight each other in the cage. All we are to the fans sometimes, we feel like property. You know what I'm saying? Kind of makes it like you're a show horse. So when it's time to retire, it's like, oh, man.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, man, because sometimes it
Sean
does.
Strickland said that. Strickland said it's kind of like watching a porn.
Yeah, we're prostitutes.
Yeah, we're prostitutes. We go in there and fight in our underwear in a cage for millions of
money.
people. For money.
Yeah.
And all you guys do is tell us that we're underperforming.
Yeah. That's all they do. That's all we hear is how we're not doing the job right and we're not doing it good enough. We should have knocked him out. It lasted the whole round, even though we won. All this shit, man.
How dare you not get a flying knee in the first round?
Bruh, I'd never hear man, that was a great performance. You won your fight. Good job. Always something. It's always something. MMA fans are never satisfied.
Well, I think they were satisfied this weekend when it comes to the main event.
I agree. They were definitely satisfied.
I was watching a ton of clips this morning. Let's get into it. That's why everybody's here. They want to hear our thoughts and views on the UFC main event, or the main card.
Yes.
So let's get into the main. Are we going to talk about Curtis and Gastelum?
Yes,
too?
let's talk about that one.
Yeah,
man.
let's talk about Kelvin Gastelum coming back after a 20-month layoff, I think.
Yes. And this was the best Kelvin Gastelum I've ever seen.
He looked tremendous.
He looked phenomenal.
Incredible.
He went to Fight Ready Gym, got his hands and feet ready, and he looked really, really good. Honestly, Chris Curtis looked really good too, man. That was a phenomenal fight by Chris Curtis.
Chris Curtis was I could be wrong, and no disrespect to Kelvin, it's my guy, but I thought if it went 5 rounds, it might have went the other way.
Yeah.
I just thought as it went, Curtis seemed like he was getting his bearings, but
Yep, and he got the headbutt in the second round, which, if you... Sorry.
bless you.
Thank you. Sorry. So if those of you guys that didn't see, damn Las Vegas, man, stupid allergies,
And it's
man.
dry. Well,
Oh my
I got to take
goodness.
this hoodie off. It's going to
Yeah.
be 90 degrees today.
Oh my goodness. So for those of you guys that haven't seen the fight, there was a headbutt that caused a takedown in the second round. I think there was a wild exchange that happened, and I think Calvin's head hit Chris's chin, got him down. Calvin got on top of him, and Chris Curtis believes that is the moment where it swayed the judges and it cost him a round, and it could. It could. That either way, that fight went really, really well for Chris. They both. I think it was a close fight. I wouldn't say it was a robbery. I would just say it was a really, really close fight. And that fight could have gone either way, honestly. Regardless of the outcome, I am happy for that performance, man. Both guys went out there and fucking duked it out. And that's what the sport's about.
Chris Curtis was throwing Rocky style
Leather.
Just Rocky style uppercuts.
He was throwing leather, man.
Just killing it. George. Let's give a shout out to George. They're like, who's this guy over here?
Shout out to my man George.
George, good morning. Have a happy Easter. Happy Easter to everybody.
Yeah, he rose.
Jesus' resurrection day.
He rose, baby.
Hey,
Sorry to cut you guys off. I got excited.
you're good, man.
George is
But
my
nah,
brother's name, so I get excited when I hear it.
It makes sense.
Hey, but nah, those body shots that Chris was landing, I was like, ooh, that shit was hurting my stomach.
Where do you think Chris and Calvin? I mean,
Where do I see him going from here?
yeah, that's what I was thinking about that. I was thinking the same thing with the Holland and Ponzinibbio fight, kind of like where do they? And we'll get into that, but I mean, if you think of this, like the star power and where certain people were fighting Izzy in Australia in front of 60,000 people to now being on an undercard,
Yeah.
it's like obviously he's been there, he's going to get back there, but I mean, I
Yeah.
kind of like, damn, Curtis has been around so long, so many fights. Where does he go from now? Do you have the rankings for?
I could pull it up.
Yeah, can you pull up Kelvin and Curtis?
I don't know, but I do know it's up from here because the only people that he's lost to were Kelvin Gastelum, like a good Kelvin, and then oh gosh, why am I spacing right now?
All right, so we got the rankings coming up right now, so we can look at the.
Jack Hermanson, there we go. Kelvin Gastelum and Jack Hermanson are the only two people that Chris Curtis lost to.
Okay. They're both 14, 15, so Gastelum would take 14 now.
And Brendan Allen is ranked, what, 12th?
Yes.
Chris beat Brendan Allen. Who else is up there?
Delidze, I don't think either one of them's fought Delidze yet. Brunson.
Duplessis is 6, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, man, what a.
I think
God,
that'd be a
there's
good.
some killers.
Honestly, I think a Chris Curtis Duplessis fight is a really. I don't think Duplessis probably wants that fight though because he's.
It's a hard fight.
No, he's fighting behind him because Chris is ranked what 14th.
Yeah, he'll be
Correct.
Yeah. So
Well, Izzy was just talking about that he'll drag Duplessis' carcass across South Africa.
yeah.
I mean, he didn't say his name, but I knew who he was talking about.
Yeah.
Duplessis is complete savage too. That whole division stacked, but it looks like they still got a couple more fights to get back. I do think that Gastelum can get back to the top fairly quick.
Yes, he can, especially if he fights the way that he did this past weekend.
And with his star power, I think that people up in the top 7 would want to fight him.
100%, 100%. But if he keeps fighting like how he just fought, he's going to the top soon and fast.
Yeah, he looked good. He was hungry. He obviously he has the experience, but what a fight. So
hats
off to those gents for going at it. Fight of the night.
Yes.
They got the bonus, which is great.
Hands down, best fight of the night. 100%.
And then, so let's get into it.
All right.
Can you break down the background of this young man and the hype that went into this?
So let's move on to the what would that be? The opening of the main card.
Yeah.
Raul Rosas versus Christian Rodriguez.
And you called this fight last week. I'll pull the clip up today and try to post it.
Yes,
you called it to a T.
I did. Like I said, I've trained with Christian before at Rufus Sport. Excuse me. And I said this before. I think Duke Rufus and Dewey Cooper are two of the best coaches in the game. And I know what Duke Rufus has to offer. And I know where Christian Rodriguez's jiu-jitsu came from. Daniel Wanderlei, who is one of the best MMA coaches in the game. Brazilian jiu-jitsu, multiple stripe black belt. Daniel Wanderlei is a savage. So I knew that, Christian's calmness would cause Rosas some issues because Rosas is going to try to finish him in the first round. And Christian's he's a hard person to finish, very hard. And so that's how I saw that fight playing out. Christian used his veteran mindset to combat Rosas's,
aggression,
novice, yeah. And you saw a little bit of it when it was playing out as the fight went on, as the fight progressed. You saw Rosas start to fade really heavy.
Blew his gas tank quick.
And that's just inexperience. This is good for Rosas. It's a win-win regardless because he takes this and he goes, okay, now I know what I need to work on. Now I know what I can do better for the next time. And now I know what I should not do the next time. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just going to be a learning experience. I think for me, how well is he going to be able to handle the onslaughts of the MMA fans? You know what I'm saying? Because when you're on top and your ego is high,
it's easy.
It's easy. But when you lose, after you've been talking shit about Aljo and all the whole division, putting them on notice, it's how well is he going to be able to handle that? And I think however well he handles the fans is how he's going to be able to come back from this. And I think he can do it well. His got a good team around him, his mom, his dad, his brother, good martial arts team around him. So I think he can handle it well.
I mean, I'll give it to him. If you're in that position and you're in the limelight, I mean, it's your time. It's your shot. Talk your shit. If that's what you want to do and that's what's coming natural and organic to you, then do it. I mean, you're in the position.
Yep.
What are you gonna count yourself out and say, I don't know? And even if you know that, you shouldn't, openly say that. Maybe in a one-on-one personal interview, but like if you're out, like you got to build your brand,
For sure.
So I don't give him any, backlash on the fact that. But on the other hand,
when you lose,
say you were going to be the first 3 division champ and you were going to walk through this guy, you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, when you lose, you got to deal with it, man. I had to deal with it. We all got to deal with it. It's how you bounce back from your fall.
And MMA fans.
And not taking anything away from Christian either, man. Christian Rodriguez, phenomenal. He is a UFC championship material fighter. I've always said that. Anthony Pettis was really high on this kid. Talked about him a lot. I think you're going to see a lot of great things from Christian. A lot of great things.
He needs a little media training. I think you guys need to bring him on.
Yes,
loosen him up a little bit
for sure. Because he
missed his moment, bro. He could have fucking put a statement out after that fight.
I know. He definitely needs a lot of that.
But yeah, he's.
Let's talk about
the. He should have gone on the mic and be like, "I'm not surprised, motherfucker."
Yeah, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. What about I was talking to John, during, I think after the fight, about, look at the level of matchmaking that the UFC puts on. If you look at that fight in the totality of the fight and the skill levels and like just the way that the fight played out. They were very close in a lot of aspects. Now, obviously, you know, there was a winner who clearly took over in the later rounds. But I mean, what a good matchup too, and that's why I think we love the UFC. It's not like boxing where you're getting like some tomato can versus the champ.
What I love too about how Christian fought, it was almost like Christian was in there almost yawning, eating a sandwich in the second.
While he had his back?
Well, in the second and third round, he was just kind of like, all right, well, looking at his, like, okay, I got, how much time do I got? Looking up at the clock, taking his time. It was like so effortless for him. And that was interesting.
That's his jiu-jitsu, just not feeling threatened on the ground, which is humongous.
That is experience versus inexperience, in my opinion. I think, like I said before, Rosas is going to be a world beater. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be that guy that is going to be a great fighter someday. He just needs a little bit more time.
But as a UFC fighter who is, you said you're 31, how old are you?
31.
And knowing how long you've been fighting and all your wrestling pedigree, how do you guys look at this kid? Like, I know we look at him like, oh, this would be great to see this kid go on a run. But how did like the UFC, like men that are in their 30s have been doing this for almost as long as this kid's been alive? How do you guys kind of look at him like, good job, kid? Like,
of course.
Or do you like
no? We all look at it like, dude, you know what I'm saying? The spotlight's on you. All props to you. You can't hate on it because anyone in the UFC having that much momentum from the UFC would be happy. You know what I'm saying? Would be happy. So proud of Raul, man. He is a phenomenal fighter. Raul is an amazing fighter. Just incredible. His heart, his tenacity, his confidence, his background, bringing Mexico with him. He's got all of Mexico's support. His family is great. You know, he just needs a little bit more time. And that fight showed him what he needs to know and what he needs to learn. Now it's going to be who is going to help him build him back up. That's what's going to be the thing. And how is this going to affect him because he's so young? You know what I'm saying? How are the fans?
Yeah, could be rough.
Yeah, how are the fans going to affect him? Is he the type to, you know, put it behind him and stay the course and just know that it's a learning experience?
I hope he laughs it off. But the MMA fans are
ruthless.
Ruthless, man. Oh my goodness. How many memes are already out there? I saw one with Alex Pereira knocked out and it said it was a bunch of like Toy Story toys on the floor. And it said this is what happens when Andy walks in the room and all the toys lay down. I was like, come on. I mean, it was like 40 minutes after the knockout.
Yeah.
All right, so hats off to both gents.
We did have a comment from one of our viewers. So make sure you guys, if you're not watching this live on YouTube on Monday and you're listening to this, we're live every Monday on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
At 9:30 a.m. One of the commenters said, but Christian did miss weight, so he is still 20% poorer than what he would have been.
This is true. He is 20% poorer than what he would have been, but I'll take the clout over the money. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the W over the money.
Man, the comments are throwing. I knew that. I just didn't want to bring it up. I want to throw them under the bus.
Right.
But that's the fight game too. You gotta make weight. And I swear, I do want to plan on cutting with you a little bit next fight.
And actually, it's 10%. Actually, 10%. 20. How much did he miss by? Oh, a pound and a half. Okay, then yeah. It's 20. Yeah, you're right.
I want to just know how it feels to cut weight a little bit. Because
it doesn't feel good.
I've seen so many clips.
It doesn't feel good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get it.
But let's move on to the next fight, which, what's that?
Was it the Rob Font?
Yes, Rob Font, Adrian. No, sorry. Holloway and Ponzinibbio fight.
Holland,
Holloway, jeez.
Holloway did
Kevin
fight,
Holland
though.
and Ponzinibbio. That fight was incredible. I thought that was the best Kevin Holland I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So disciplined. And Kevin Holland's always been good, but he just lacked discipline in my eyes. In my eyes, Kevin Holland has not taken the fight game serious enough. He's always came in there, joked around, played too much, and let the fight get away from him. This is the first time that I've seen a serious Kevin Holland. You know, sometimes he'd point, say some stuff, whatever the case may be. But he was actually very serious. If he keeps this mindset going, you'll see a moving forward, slingshotted Kevin Holland to the front. But if he slips back into his old ways, then you're gonna see the Kevin Holland that gets beat when he doesn't need to be getting beat. You know what I'm saying? So I was super impressed with Kevin's performance and his mentality for this bout.
Yeah, he looked good. I mean, 170 is not easy. That is a big man.
Yes.
I think he's comfortable going between 185 and 170, but to make 170 look that lean, and I got to say, I was a little worried. Santiago Ponzinibbio is who he fought. Is a complete savage. His jiu-jitsu, his grappling, and his takedown defense is all great. I thought it was going to go to the ground. I was expecting a clinch or him, but Ponzinibbio, and I don't know why. I'm not his coach. I'm not a fighter, but watching, yeah. I mean, to be at that level without ever really, besides the BMF belt,
right? He come on, guys. He's 1-5 in his last 6 fights. the greatest unsuccessful fighter.
But we don't care about the rankings, O'Day. We're fans, man.
He beat. Who did he beat?
He lost twice.
Ben Askren, which was a luck. Flying knee, first round. He would have gotten mauled after that.
You think so?
Yeah, Askren would have mauled him. Cowboy Cerrone, which he looked good, but Cerrone was, come on, another gatekeeper. And Diaz, who's also a gatekeeper. Darren Till, who loved Darren Till, but he's on a 6-fight losing streak.
But he beat Till in 19 when he was on fire.
But who did Till beat after that? Or
Till just came off a loss for the belt against Woodley.
Yeah, then he went on like a slide. So
I didn't listen to his post game.
Hey, I'm sorry.
I love the honesty. Keep it real.
I'm gonna keep it real. And the fighters that are watching this, if you are watching this, don't be offended. I think Till,
you're doing your job.
Yeah,
we have a breakdown show to analyze fighters. If they get butthurt, too bad.
And Till is a great friend of mine. You know what I mean? I love Darren Till, man. He's probably one of my favorite fighters. Honestly, one of my favorite fighters. But his past 6 fights weren't the best. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, Masvidal was put out to be better than he was, but very successful. Knows how to promote. Same with Kobe. The 2 things that Masvidal and Covington have in common is that they know how to promote themselves extraordinarily well. They show up at fights, they talk their shit, they call out who they need to call out, and they, blowjob Trump.
Yeah, they definitely. I don't know if he's gonna. And look, I don't know. I'll never get into politics, but if I did a 20-year stretch of fighting, I don't think in my post-fight, when I look back and show my grandkids, I don't think I'd want to see me like getting political in the octagon.
Me too, man. I honestly, I hate politics. I'm not a big fan of politics.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys are listening and you guys are huge fans of politics, I'm Jamaican. I don't.
Are you?
We look, man. Bob Marley always says politics only brings separation and greed and negativity. I don't like politics. I'm just that person who, whenever you get to a point where you have to choose a side, I'm gonna step back.
Choose love every time.
Every time, man. That's just who I am.
I'm the same way.
Every time, man. But anyways, moving
love
on.
always wins, man.
Love always wins.
We gotta go to Jamaica.
You'll never hear me be like, guys, you should vote for Biden, or guys, you should vote for Trump. You'll never hear me say that shit ever. Never. You'll never hear me tell you guys that this person's great. Because the reality of it, man, I think the whole country is just
hurting.
It's hurting, man. It's hurting. And everyone should all just come together as one. Both sides. The number one goal shouldn't be, let's beat that guy. The number one goal should be, how can we get our country elevated as a group, as a whole, as a unit, and just spread our love. And the people need us right now. The people are in dire need of hurt. And that's what is the most important thing, is the people and our children. Period.
Jerry Springer could bring us all together.
Jerry. All right, guys. Let's move on to the main event of the evening.
Introducing first, the challenger.
Yo.
Tell me how weird it was to see Izzy in blue.
Oh, my goodness. Hey,
it looked dope. But
hey, George, can you go on Instagram and play the clip that I shared of the
tribute?
The tribute to Israel Adesanya. And I love Israel, man. Just one of my favorite fighters. Here's why. When I first got to the UFC, I was an assistant teacher. Hadn't had a fight yet, but I came out to Vegas to do testing. I saw Izzy in the office, and I was talking to him. He didn't even know who I was, just having a whole conversation with me. Ended up telling him I was an assistant teacher. My kids are a huge fan of him. And the first thing he said when I told him, yeah, the kids in my class are a huge fan of you, he was like, oh, man, they like anime? I was like, they love anime, and that's why they love you. And he's like, let's go take a video for them. And I was like, dude, that really meant a lot for me.
Is it on your story?
Yes, you just played it. That was the one you just played.
Oh, it's that one?
Yeah.
This one?
All right, let's take a look at this, the Adesanya tribute.
Yeah, this is sick.
Go ahead.
Okay, one sec.
Yep,
I got you.
And unmute it. Boop.
It starts with
Have you seen this, George?
so watch it I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end.
Yeah, man. Tell me that doesn't get you in your feels.
Yeah, that was that fired me up. Yeah. Fired me up.
Man, it was like, yo, the whole world felt that knockout because, I think Chris Curtis said it best. Alex Pereira was like Israel's boogeyman for so long. He'd been hunting him for so long. Years, beating him in boxing and then come to the UFC and then ended up beating him there. Just when you've been haunted for so long, that victory is so sweet when you get that. Finally, when you slay the boogeyman and you slay Michael Myers, man. Oh, and the entire world felt that punch. That punch shook up the entire world because you can tell he put his all. That punch came from the earth. It came from the ground. It came from within. It came from his soul. Like everything that he had been working so hard for years and years and years to beat this man, he put it all into that punch, and it was just so sweet, man. I got the chills. The chills. Thank you, George. You can pause it now.
Yeah.
That was just so incredible to watch. So incredible.
You know what I like, and I gotta get real for a second here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little out of breath. I just sprinted across the whole building to get a lint roller. That hoodie was all over me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I just ran like a football field.
What do you like?
Zoom in a little bit, George. Let's get real for these kids out here for a second. All right, where am I at? Right there? All right, I want to talk about how Israel Adesanya on paper was not supposed to win. And this isn't even about Izzy.
It's true.
As soon as Izzy won and he was doing his post-fight presser and he, talking to the crowd, he said, I hope that people can learn from this. Mm-hmm. That if you get knocked down 3 times, you got to get up 4. Look, I'm very cautious of my surroundings and the fact that I wasn't supposed to be here either. I wasn't supposed to make it out. And if you guys know me, you know the hardships I went through and that there's a lot of people that didn't want to see me in this position now, with a host of a show, doing tremendous things. it doesn't matter what your past is. You have to make your own narrative. You have to rewrite your own book. And I am literally that embodiment of what that is when it comes to falling and getting back up. Do not ever count yourself out. Ever. I don't care what people say. I don't care how much they badmouth you. I don't care how much you doubt yourself. Keep moving forward, because I literally, not even a blink of an eye ago, I was pretty much dying and killing myself every day. Abusing drugs and living a very unhealthy lifestyle. And I hated life, and I was miserable, and everybody counted me out. I counted me out, but I got that fire back, and I've changed my entire life for the last few years. And I want to really let everybody know that I don't care what people around you say. I don't care what you think about yourself. Mm-hmm. You can make that damn change.
Yep.
And you have to do it for yourself. You have to really want to. I know that was kind of deep for the fight, but Izzy literally did the same thing. He got beat 3 times by the same guy. This guy beat him twice in kickboxing, and then came over to MMA, ran up the ranks, and then beat him and took his belt. Uh-huh. Imagine getting in the ring for the 4th time against a killer that beat you 3 times already.
Man.
And then winning by an exceptional knockout.
It's got to be demoralizing. You know what I mean?
Oh, my gosh.
And those things, I don't care what anyone says, those things do haunt you. Not to the degree that people made it seem online, but they do haunt you. You know what I'm saying? Because the demons come out like, what if I do this? What if I don't do this? What if this happens to me? What if this doesn't happen to me?
Bro, that was my life. Like, I don't deserve to be here.
Yeah.
I feel like imposter syndrome, you know?
But I love that Izzy didn't let the demons become him. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
He's like, I saw this thing online, and it's like, the goal is not to fight all your demons. The goal is to train one demon to kill them all, and
That's dope.
And so I think
That's dope.
Izzy really trained his one demon, and he got in there, and he's like, you know what? He's like, what if I knock him out? What if I just fuck him up?
Yeah.
He's like, what if I just go
Butcher
in there
him.
and butcher him? And he really, truly believed it. He wasn't hesitant when he was in there. He wasn't fearful. You saw how he came out. He came out strong. And that punch, you can tell he had been practicing being in the pocket, knowing that, because even when he would slip out, he had that hand up, knowing that Pereira was going to strike. And you could tell he had been waiting for his opportunity, because he had so much power in his punch. That's how you know he wasn't hesitating. He wasn't hesitant. It was just right off the gates, bang! And man, it was good night, Irene. Look at this.
Freaking out.
Look at that.
This. Yeah.
Boom, rolling. He's waiting. Boom!
Oh.
He wasn't hesitating. He wasn't afraid. If he was afraid, then he probably wouldn't have gotten that off.
No, he would have stayed with cover up, and he would have tried to, get away or back up to the cage more.
Exactly. He was not afraid. And I
then,
think,
bam!
I think Pereira disrespected him and slept on him a little bit. You know what I mean? He thought, man, I beat this guy 3 times.
I got his number.
I got his number. I'm going to go in here and piece him up. And then Izzy had to, y'all must have forgot.
Now, let's talk about the most spectacular ending. So, like we said, Izzy lost to him 3 times, right? Mm-hmm. And if you don't know, Poatan means stone hands, and that Alex Pereira's, when he walks into the octagon, or his walk out to the octagon, he does the
arrow.
The arrow. So he shoots an arrow at Izzy. So when Izzy knocked him out, Izzy shot 3 arrows into his ass, and then he broke the bow over his knee, and then we'll get it. I want to ask your opinion on
about
this too.
The kid.
Oh my goodness,
man!
Sorry, little backstory though. So years ago, in I think the second fight that Izzy had against Alex, right? I think it was his second one. So the first one went to decision. Alex knocked Izzy out cold, and when he was on the ground, Alex's son, who was probably 6 at the time, got in the octagon and then fell on the ground and acted like, I got knocked out, taunting him. So
Izzy did the same thing back to his son.
Yep.
Izzy found his son. Izzy found his son in the audience and did the same thing that he did back to him. And people were kind of
was bawling.
Hey, man, here's what I got to say.
Teach your kid to be humble.
I love kids, man. But you get in there with a grown man and you try to do grown man shit, Look, it's time for you to act. You act like a grown man, you get grown man.
Yeah.
You're about to get grown man.
Well, his
taunted.
father should have taught him to be more humble and not do that to my opponents.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
But Izzy held on to that shit for like 7 years.
Yeah.
And he got him back.
I'm not one to be on petty, but look, fuck it.
You know,
in all words of Michael Jordan, when you're in there, Michael Jordan said it best. When you're in there, fuck them kids.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm not saying
Real talk.
but look, all respect to kids, all respect to Pereira's kid. You know,
I'm a dad. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
I would never do that. But at the same time, you let your kid get in there and be disrespectful, then come on, it's gonna come back.
Yeah.
And it's a learning experience for him.
That little kid, man.
Yeah.
He's
Scarred.
and he's viral now.
Forever. Scarred.
Oh my goodness. I did see them talking backstage, shaking hands,
Yes.
talking about even possibly training together in Brazil.
Yes.
I don't think it happens.
No, but I do think Pereira goes to 205 though. I do think that happens. I see him going
Yeah.
to 205. I see him doing really well at 205.
You do?
Yeah, I see him doing really well. Here's why I see that, because 205, the wrestlers are at 205. They're not as great as
205 is kind of falling off. It used to
yeah.
be
They're not
crazy.
as great as the 85 wrestlers. So I do see him doing really well at 205. I think it'd be a good fight between him and Jamal Hill.
Ooh.
That would be a good fight. Obviously, I'm biased, so I think
Jamal's power is just way different.
Yeah, I think Jamal takes him, man.
And Jamal's more of a full fighter.
Yes,
this guy.
Jamal takes him. Jamal takes him. People have been sleeping on Jamal because they don't really think he deserves to be a champion because he didn't beat anybody. But look, if this Yuri fight happens and he starches Yuri, then what?
Yeah, but look what he just did to Glover.
Exactly.
And the champ.
But now
almost
people
lost.
are like, oh, because his age, man.
Shut the hell
People
up.
always got some shit to say.
Getting punched in the face, is getting punched in the face.
Right? Come on, man.
Whatever.
Stop
dude.
it.
And he has the best call out video ever.
Yes.
When he made fun of Yuri in the woods with the snow. That shit was sick.
Hey, but yeah, man. Let's wrap this up. It was a great episode. Thank you, Bobby, for having me on the show as usual.
Oh man, what a beautiful day.
What a beautiful day in Las Vegas. And shout out to George for getting those clips and everything put up. George is amazing, man. George.
I appreciate the love, but I do appreciate I want to take a moment right now, okay? This was the most watched live stream that we've had on a Monday.
What?
Okay. We had 209 views.
What?
We had 43 people watching right now. So
What?
thank you to each and every one of you guys. Live every Monday, 9:30 a.m., baby.
Thank you guys for tuning in to our live stream. I guarantee you will not regret it. Tune in for Thursday's live stream where we break down Saturday's card. Myself, the Jamaican Sensation. Also follow my podcast. It's called Wagwan. And
Which means what's up, right?
Yes, Wagwan means what's up. It's spelled WAHGAAN. I have a podcast I do with tons of UFC fighters, Wagwan with Ode Osborne. Follow it and smash this like button for the Fight Junkeez podcast, sponsored by MMA Fight Universe. My name is Ode Osborne, the Jamaican Sensation.
And I'm Bob. Just Bob.